So Douglas Murray speaks with Barry Weiss of the Free Press. This is from their channel. You can watch the full discussion. And here she asks him about students on America chanting Intifada, pressuring and intimidating Jewish and pro-Israel students. And she asks, what is Douglas's thoughts on that and his message to them? This is powerful stuff. Have a watch.
Those people who are shouting Intifada are not thinking of the people murdered in the Hebrew U cafeteria. They're thinking, I was told this is what it means to be on the right side of history.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's what
they were told they were on the right side of history as they were chasing Jews across campus shouting, go back to Poland. Do you think you might have been the bad guys? You think?
What do we do about the fact, though, that this is one of a lot of statistics? 51% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 24, all of them with an IV right into TikTok, I'm sure, said that Israel believed that Israel should be ended and given to Hamas and to the Palestinians. Just as a practical matter, we can sit here and say, ha-ha, they're shitting in buckets, ha-ha, they're idiots. That's the next generation of American citizens. What do we do about that?
Well, the first thing is we should pray they never get what they want. Pray they never get what they want. If they got what they wanted for and what they chant for, they would end up waking up and realizing that they were the Nazis. Hamas, Hezbollah, the regime in Tehran, this is no overstatement for once, wishes to finish the work of Adolf Hitler in our time. If they managed, if Iran got the nuclear bomb and the Ayatollahs used it, that's it. And the Jewish people who survived Pharaoh and the Babylonians and the Assyrians and the Romans and Mengele would have been done in our own time. You sure you'd be happy to live with that? Young Columbia student. So no, I pray that they never, for many reasons, that they never get what they say they want.
But I think one of the alarming lessons of the past decade, or at least one lesson I'm learning, I'm sure you know it years before me, is I always used to comfort myself in a certain sense by saying, oh, people grow out of it. People grow out of it. And I don't feel that way anymore. I don't see people just naturally growing out of something that is being reinforced by so many of the institutions in their lives, by the people they admire, not just by their professors, but by many people in the culture who let these lies go unchallenged.
Yeah, well, as I say, there's a lot of rot in the culture. There's a lot of rot in institutions.
Well, you said earlier that we're kind of drunk on peace, or the way a lot of other people have said it is we're a decadent society. Like, is it going to take something catastrophic happening to us?
It will take a mass casualty terror attack. Probably. Probably, sadly. You know, there's a line from T.S. Eliot, that rather sobering line in Murder in the Cathedral. He says, we do not know very much about the future, except from generation to generation. We do the same thing again and again. Men learn little. And yeah, I think that most likely a mass casualty terror attack would be about the only thing that would bring the reality of this home. I mean, if these students who do this, if they realize that if they had any imagination, if they had any sympathy or empathy, can they imagine that? Of course they don't imagine. Imagine that the Nova Party had taken place in New York. Imagine that at 6:30 in the morning, rockets started to land over your head. Imagine within about 20 minutes, big bearded men with machine guns and Kalashnikovs and grenades came and raped your friends in front of you and then killed them in front of you and then came for you next. And in your last moments, that was what you saw. One of the, without getting too gruesome, but let me just perhaps do so for once to hit home the point. One of the people who I interviewed who had been in the Nova Party had said at one point that there was a young girl on her knees. One of the Hamas terrorists had killed her best friend in front of her, and they were debating whether or not they should take her into Gaza or kill her, and she was screaming, "Please don't kill me, please don't kill me," and they shot her through the face, and she was still shouting that when her face fell off. That's what these guys are. Does any student in America understand this, or can have any understanding that these people would do that to them?
This is what ultimately so much of this comes down to. That there seems to be this delusion on campuses that the Palestinian cause is a legitimate grievance, that it's about resistance to an original sin that Israel committed. No, the original sin has been the original sin of the Jews for 3,000 years, which is simply to exist, to be. It is a hateful ideology that drives the anti-Israel cause. It's not a legitimate grievance. And I wonder, as Barry and Douglas were discussing, are most of the students who are so grossly hostile to Israel and Jews, are most of them in the silly camp or the sinister camp? Are they ignorant and just brainwashed and not thinking? Or are they actually much more sinister? Are they more deeply rooted in anti-Semitism? That's the question. I think if it's the former, then that's easier to deal with, because ignorance can be replaced. If people are just looking for a cause and they just don't understand, my hope is that not for all, and maybe not the ringleaders who are deeply poisoned with anti-Semitism, but maybe for the people that get whipped up. We see them being interviewed and they just haven't got a clue what the word intifada or anything like that means. And we've seen people who are deeply hateful towards Jews change their ways. Loe al-Sharif, Mossab Hassan Youssef. So I think there is a strong case to say that actually many of the people are just being whipped up into a frenzy and actually don't know really what's going on. But then again, there's a part of me that thinks, really? To be so vitriolic in your hatred against Israel, when you know a little bit about what's happening, not much, but a little bit, to know what happened on October 7th, and I don't know, and you see how they so clearly target Israel with their venomous hatred, that makes me think, oh, it's a bit more sinister. I'm not sure. What do you think? Please comment with your thoughts and we can continue this discussion, and I'll get involved in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Is it more in the silly camp or the sinister camp? Let me know. If you've made it so far in this video, I have a request for you. JTV has been having a really big impact in spreading the truth about Israel and creating positive associations with the Jewish people, Judaism, and Israel. We've really grown a lot, particularly in the last year, and we're having a really significant impact, both for Jews and non-Jews. But I really want to take JTV to the next level so we can start to compete with the other big online media beasts that are often peddling anti-Israel content. And the way we're going to do that is to scale even faster. So I'd love to build a team where we have other presenters doing shows like me, that start doing documentaries, supplementary content, animated content, etc., etc. And to do that, I'd like to build a bit of a team. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one fundraising day, just one, where we try and build up some funding in order to fund such a team. Now, to do that, it's going to obviously require people to get involved. And I'm wondering if you would consider, if you're watching JTV content and appreciate what we do and want to help partner with us in taking this to the next level and spreading the truth farther and wider than ever before, I wonder if you'd consider partnering with us simply by running a mini page on the fundraiser that we do, where you just reach out to your contacts on that day that we choose to fundraise and see if they'll all chip in. If you'd be up for doing that, of which I would be so grateful, then please click on the Google form link in the video description of this video, where you can simply just put in a few contact details. It'll be a very small commitment, as I say, literally just one day that we'll all agree upon as a collective community. But the impact is going to be so big. There's such strength in numbers. If we all pull together and do this, we can take this to the next level. And as I say, all of us can partner together in bringing and spreading the truth to the whole world. So please do consider clicking on that link, filling in the form, and I'll be in touch very soon to talk about the next steps. Small commitment, but a big impact. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.